Welcome back to Screen Theme. It's your boy Carcino here, and let's talk about movies. Damn it. This movie here, Iron Man and Ross. At the end credit scene of the movie, The Incredible Hulk. Now, the super powerful Avengers had a different script because they were very convinced that this was the film that they were working towards. So, this is where in the bar, Ross is being told by Tony Stark to shut down his super soldier experiment. That he was putting together a team. And that team would be the defenders of the world. And this was the first sign of the Avengers being unified since Tony Stark's had that visit from Nick Fury. That Tony would be the one to go about putting together a team. This scene never went anywhere. As we noticed that Tony wasn't the one to go out to recruit and bring the team together. But this scene was very important because in the original script, the Incredible Hulk was the villain in the first Avengers. That's why Ross and Tony Stark is having this meeting. Tony was going to recruit and bring the Avengers together. That was going to be Tony's job, is to bring them all together and to form one team, one unit. Nick Fury entrusted that to Tony. Now, what you say? Think about putting this team together. Marvel needs to go dark. Well, they've seen what going dark does. Going dark only works if you have no powers, if you humanize the character. Going dark with superpowers is not a good idea. We already got one that's going bad with Brightburn. We finna see what going dark with superpowers is like. If Superman just was villainous. Well, John, I wouldn't get caught believing that. But back to this. The Incredible Hulk was the original villain of the Avengers. That's the way it was designed. In the first Avengers, the goal was to go to war and battle the Incredible Hulk. He was the villain. Or what I say, anti-hero. They went to recruit the Incredible Hulk. Do you remember that? Or he was the nemesis. Do you remember that? See, in the first Avengers film, to make, I don't want to say make, but to have the appearance of the Hulk be more than what it was drawn out to be. The Incredible Hulk was to be the hardest one to recruit. The character of Loki came about secondarily. Loki was able to manipulate and come in and make his moves due to the fact of them having to fight and deal with the Incredible Hulk to recruit him, to bring him in, to see that there was a greater threat. Once the Incredible Hulk saw what Loki had done, decimating and controlling half of the world, then the Incredible Hulk ended up joining. Well, they knew where the Hulk was, but going to get him, this scene became a lot different in the script. This scene became very violent and very dark when they went to recruit the Incredible Hulk. Ruffalo was the perfect choice. As they came to recruit Ruffalo into the Avengers, the very first one. This is an homage to what he really was. I want you guys to witness this. This was the subtleness that Marvel did. See him pushing that? It's like a baby cart. That is what drove the Incredible Hulk mad. That he couldn't be with Betty. He couldn't be with Betty, and he could never have children because of his condition. This is what drove the Incredible Hulk to anger. And this is why he was always angry. This scene gave away a lot.
Every time I get what I want.
Every time I can't get what I want.
Potential global catastrophe.
See? And that's what he wants, a family. And they put that subtle note in there and have him push that little cart to remind you of a baby carriage.
But now I need you to come in.
What if I say no?
I'll persuade you.
And what if the other guy says no?
We've been more than a year without an incident. I don't think you want to break that streak.
Well, every time I get what I want.
Doctor, we're facing a potential global catastrophe.
So, right then and there, he tells you, every time I don't get what I want. And this was the new rewrite. This scene of them trying to capture the Incredible Hulk went bad. She was working when talking with him. It was working. Then he heard soldiers. They approached, and the Hulk thought this was a setup. And said this is why he didn't want to join. He runs. They try to capture him. He eventually gets shot with some type of electronical net, which drives him to rage. He turns into the Hulk and rips that apart. Thank you. He rips the net apart. They try to capture him. He ends up injuring a bunch of military guys as they fail to capture the Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk had to go up against the assembled guys who just linked up with Tony. As Loki is finding ways to manipulate and trigger the Incredible Hulk with his magic, tricks the Incredible Hulk to believing that they're trying to kill him. and that they're bringing Iron Man in to try to kill him and these Avengers. So they turn Banner, David Banner, they turn him into a madman of rage and told him that there was a cure. Loki convinced him that there was a serum that could cure him from being the Incredible Hulk with no drawback. There was no way he would have to worry about. And he says others have promised him this before. Ruffalo did when talking about Loki. Then as Iron Man, Thor, and everybody tried to come and find him, he thought Loki was correct in that they were trying to kill him. So in the first Avengers, they ended up fighting the Incredible Hulk, all of them. And Loki is slowly building and taking control of the minds while he's getting everything he needs on Earth. All of this so he can open a portal and have the invasion of Earth happen. This is the original script of Avengers. Before the rewrites, the changing of the script. Ruffalo character had more depth, more everything about him included. But what happened was when they decided to go ahead and move forward, different writers got their hands on this film. And they decided that the Incredible Hulk, since that movie flopped, that the direction that they were going in was the wrong direction. Because the Incredible Hulk movie didn't sell well in the box office or didn't do what they thought it was going to do. And because of it, Marvel wanted to kind of reduce the Hulk's character in the Avengers and make him more of a late reveal. So the Hulk was used mostly as a misfit, who Loki really did use and manipulate, but kind of in a dumb way. So they did keep in the script, Loki Key was using the Hulk to distract the other Avengers. But the first Avengers was mostly about the tragedy of Bruce. We find out the source of his anger is based on the fact he cannot have children. And Betty. He can't be with the woman he loves, and he can't never have children. That's why he said he never really gets what he wants. And that line was echoed in this movie. He never really gets what he wants, which was a family. And that's the source of his anger, the source of his frustration. This is why he says, I'm always angry. That line is from the original script, and it happened earlier in the movie. And he said, you know one thing about me? I'm always angry. And he turns into the Incredible Hulk. Well, he was the original villain. The one that they thought was the bad guy, but he really wasn't. He was being manipulated by Loki to believe the Avengers were trying to kill him, as they were trying to recruit him. And of course, Loki was lying, saying that he could change the Hulk. Well, Captain America and Iron Man didn't agree. They never agreed on how they were going to proceed as far as saving the world. They had different views. That's always in the script. Thor didn't like Iron Man. Iron Man didn't like Captain America. Captain America and Thor got along. So that's just how it was. Tony struck them differently. Thanos knows of Tony because of the information that was given to him by the spies, and definitely by Loki. At the end of Avengers, they learn about Iron Man and what he did. Well, the first Avengers was not made to be a mega. They didn't know the first Avengers would go and do the numbers that it did. They knew it would be huge, but they wanted to make sure they give the proper runtime or the proper response to the other characters that were needed in this film. The first Thor movie basically did lower than the Incredible Hulk. It really wasn't on that level or scale. But Loki was a secondary villain. Who you didn't know until the actual end of how, well, we knew how bad he was from Thor, but his manipulation is what was his gift. He was the god of mischief, and that's why you saw a lot of it when he was here. He manipulated a lot of people to cause dissension within the Avengers. The original script had a lot of depth to the characters, a lot of depth to the way they maneuvered and got things done. In the Avengers movie that we got to see, if you read the script and was able to see the copy of that script, it was posted in the blogs. You might can find that original copy if Marvel didn't probably take them all down. Loki's mischief was moved to a scepter that had a mind stone, that had an infinity stone in it. And that infinity stone, that scepter that they gave him that controlled the minds of people, and the mind stone was inside of it. And when Loki had that scepter, they put his manipulation and his mischief to the work of a scepter. The scepter was never mentioned in the original script as a form of mind control. He used illusion and tricks and words to manipulate Hawkeye and a lot of these people into following him. But I guess the runtime was too much for them to do that. So to speed things up, gave Loki a scepter and let him control people's minds with this scepter. He just touch them, beep, 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 beep. Now we see that scepter ended up being the Mind Stone inside of it. Now, here's the thing. Why would Thanos give an Infinity Stone away? When he know he needed him. Oh, the ending of the original script was the funny part. As Loki is battling the Avengers, he knocks Tony. He uses an illusion to make Tony shoot himself. He shot some type of reflector thing and ended up shooting Iron Man, ended up blasting himself, shorting himself out, knocking himself completely silly. Thor tried to electrocute him and end up electrocuting He threw a lightning bolt, and it hit what's his name? Gosh, I can't even think of his damn name now. Hawkeye. And Hawkeye was shaking and was shaken up and couldn't really move. And Captain America, they both got hit. And then he struck in a hand-to-hand combat. She had this string or this rope and was tying up Loki. Loki breaks the rope and hits Romanoff, Black Widow. As Loki is laughing at Earth's mightiest heroes, the Incredible Hulk sees that he smacks or hits Romanoff, and like a switch, the Hulk comes down there, boom, busts out, and he tries to explain to the Hulk, no, big guy. Listen, I'm the God of War. And that's when the scene when Hulk grabs him and Hulk smashes him. It was a lot worse in this original script. After he does that, Hulk smash, he throws him into a building. Hulk jumps. As soon as he hits the building, Hulk smashes his head into the building again and slings him so far in the air. And that's what happens to Loki. Mm-hmm. Loki never gets taken back to Asgard. Loki was thrown away like a piece of toilet paper. The Hulk slung him woof, and was gone. He was never taken back to question him. That was the original script where the Hulk saves the day. Mm-hmm. Yep, and the remaining armies, they saw the Avengers were together. That's when they get in a circle and make that, like they're all back to back looking at everything, and the rest of them leave. And that's when the guy, the general who went there and was on one of the ships, tells Thanos, the Avengers, the Earth's mightiest heroes, to court them is to court death. And Thanos is like, I love it. And that was it. Now that they have altered the script, and you can see the rewrites, you can see everything that they did now when you watch the original Avengers. Well, she's coming out with her own movie, so called Black Widow. I mean, the thing about her character is she was way more cooler in the comics. Way more important than this. She hasn't really been needed since the first Iron Man 2. She wasn't really needed in Avengers. They were like, we need a female character. So once they got Scarlet Witch, we don't need her no more. Well, things have all changed. The whole narratives have changed. You know, that's what I'm saying. The narratives have changed. Scarlet Witch, all she does is try to sleep with people. She tried to bone everybody in the Avengers. Jeez, that's her calling card? Is that her power? She was flirting with Tony, about to split up his relationship with Pepper. So in Iron Man 2, she's trying to seduce Tony. Then she tried to sleep with Captain America. Then she turns around and trying to sleep with doggone the Incredible Hulk. It's like, man, when is enough for you? She about to split up the Avengers herself by trying to sleep with everybody in the crew. She probably done gave Hawkeye some on the low. I think Hawkeye done hit it on one of them missions, and they just ain't talking about it. She too close to the family. Right, another reason she needs to die. I mean, this woman is treacherous. She was a triple agent. Well, anyway, man, I'm out. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope y'all subscribe to the page.